so many years couldn't just leave and go find something that made them happy instead of sitting and badgering me about how I'm not doing it right anymore.
So he's not only talking about Meri here, he's also talking about me, wondering why I don't leave. And then I leave, and he's all, why did she leave? It came out of the blue. Oh my gosh. That's ridiculous. Have some accountability. Instead of shining a light on him, why don't you shine a mirror on him?
Hey friends, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It's Tuesday, January 2nd, 2024. I hope everyone had a great holiday. I was gone. And we have so much to catch up on because Sister Wives had a bunch of episodes, and I don't know that I'll talk about all of them. But I wanted to talk about Sunday night's episode because, my goodness, was Kody Brown out of his, I don't even know, out of his shoes, out of his gourd, out of something. This man was losing it. And I was able to see very clearly that 3 women have been able to dissect that Kody has a way of misdirecting and changing scenarios and changing directions and changing his thoughts to see how he can get what he needs. And then there's one woman, Robin, that continues to enable him and doesn't see the forest for the trees. There was also a talkback episode, a talkback episode where they all sat together. And I'm going to do that in another video because Jen, Mary's best friend, was on that one. And oh my goodness, she said literally everything I was thinking about Kody, about Robin, about the family. And it's proof positive that there are people in at least Mary's life that are able to show her the reality of the situation. And it's clear that Meri is a lot further away from Kody, Robin, and the entire situation than I think a lot of us believed she was. But in this episode, Kody loses his mind about the wives being friends now, even though he spent the bulk of his, 30 years in plural marriage trying to divide all of them. And he gets upset about a conversation that is shown from years ago when he and Meri were sitting down for their anniversary. Remember the one where she bought him the Rice Krispies? So this is Rice Krispie Gate 2020. So let's dive into the topic of Kody's beer and Skittles. Before we do, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed and click on the bell so you never miss a video. The scene is set up that Kody is reviewing, they're all watching, frankly, that conversation that he and Meri had when they were sitting on Coyote Pass on the blanket and having that conversation about his relationships and how he just feels like he wants some of them to leave because he just can't handle it anymore. And Kody then says that he is so angry because this was after the fact that they were all saying that they would be friends after he died, which is always what he wanted on the show, but apparently this is what angers him in this moment, which is a lie. And then they go and cut to showing all these different scenes of Robin being the one to say it, which is ironic.
We have talked about this a lot. The idea of Kody passing and what would happen afterwards. I actually think as we get older and it's just kind of us hanging around, I think it's going to be a little bit of a girl party, Kody.
Oh, and Cody's around is fine. We do have a tendency to have more fun when he's not there, though.
This is a topic that's been talked on the show for years. I mean, this was something they went to Sedona, and even in the same episode, they go back to that retreat, that marriage retreat, where Kody is telling them that they all have to be able to get along when he's not there, because if he's not there, they all have to find a common, glue. He didn't want to be the glue for all of them. He wanted them to find connections together. So he says that in, I think season 6, and then this is addressed in this exact same episode, mind you. And then Kody is flipping out now because this is after he's heard all of them say that they will get along better when he's dead. And again, the ironic part here is that it's Robin that talks about it the most in the clips that are shown. And Robin's the one that cried about it when the show blew up and Meri left because she wanted to be a sister wife and sit on the porch with her kids and her grandkids. You know, the grandma ranch, this fantasy about like them all being friends once Kody's not around. So that's what sets the stage. And it's hard to know if he's triggered about what he's talking about right now, or if he's actually, this is what he's saying that triggered him then. Because back then, I want to remind you, he said that he was upset about the one house idea and that Christine blew up his idea about one house and one family.
You. So I suffer in plural marriage. Sacrificing. It ain't all beer and Skittles. For you to finally like that other woman enough to be her friend when I'm dead? To really care about her children when I'm dead? No. You guys get in line now. Get the hell out. They just got out.
So he's really angry there, and he's like spitting, you know, and he's like, I told them that they can get in line or just get the hell out, and they got the hell out. And he's telling them to F off, which includes that Robin's the one that said all of these things. So is he telling Robin to F off? That was one question. And I don't know if you've noticed, but in these clips, he's got like a scratch on his face. That scratch that was on his face was actually on his face when he filmed that cameo with Robin, where he's like, we just filmed a special scene. And that was filmed while the season was going on. So it was this fall. So this was filmed as recently as this fall, and this is how mad he still is. And he's flipping out because, what? I mean, he was yelling at producers and directors and production people because he didn't want to answer questions. And he was just using his manipulation to try to get away from things. And I was stunned to see the way that he treats the people on set. I mean, I guess I shouldn't be stunned, but it seemed incredibly unprofessional. And I wonder sometimes if the production of Sister Wives is starting to feel like they can't keep him contained anymore now that he's so angry about everything. I mean, it makes great TV, but I would be upset if I was getting yelled at all the time by people that I'm supposed to be filming for a show, and this is just my job. He also claims that he's a victim because in the world of polygamy, he doesn't get to say that he doesn't want to be with a wife. And he was talking about Christine, and he used a derogatory word to describe letting her go by calling her the B word.
She called me a coward because I was never willing to break up with her. It's because, well, you're not really allowed. I'm the prisoner here. I can't just go, hey, I'm done with you.
On any average reality show, hearing a guy call a woman a bee is nothing. I mean, hearing other women call each other bees on The Housewives and whatever other show it is. But this has been a show about Mormon fundamentalism, and their whole world is about being better people and more enlightened and becoming perfect. And so like cursing and calling each other names is not something they're supposed to be doing because that would be not perfect. So to hear him say like, B, I'm done, and he called himself a prisoner, whatever. And then he went on to explain that in the world of polygamy, that if a man has a problem with a wife, he can't just leave her. So he would have to go to like the elders or the brethren of his church, and they would tell him that he's stuck with them. The issue here is that it doesn't matter because the wives are not marrying the men for a relationship. If this was under any other circumstances and we weren't watching this on television and this was any other polygamous family, the wives are just a number. The women are just a number. They're not being married. They're not marrying for relationship. They're not marrying for love. They're not marrying for anything other than exaltation. So he's making this like he's the victim of a situation where all these women are fighting over him and he can't let one go. Oh my goodness, Kody, the humanity. So what does he do? He just, instead of letting them go, he just emotionally abandons them, which again is cowardly in my opinion. But that was just one example. Then he like flips out.
What teed me off, I think, was Robin kind of groveling to Christine. It's like, are you going to be our friend? Are you still going to be our friend? I'm like, why are you even wanting to be her friend?
Cody's explanation about the knife in the kidneys is that he was mad that Christine rejected Robin and that Robin was groveling to Christine. So remember how in the tell-all he said that he wants to punch people in the mouth that speak about Robin, and he gets to a point where he just wants to like get violent and tell them to shut up? That's what the knife in the kidneys was. I'm wondering if cameras wouldn't have been there, what would have happened? Because he was so aggressive in that section of in that specific scene, and yelling and screaming and puffing his chest out. This is him reacting to someone telling Robin, I just need space. He doesn't want Robin to be friends with anyone because he wants to keep Robin away from everyone. I watched the talkback where he and Robin sat together, which we'll do another video on. And it's very clear that Robin has to really watch what she says to him because she doesn't want to set him off. And I don't know. I mean, I don't like Robin by any means, but I kind of felt bad for her watching that because I was like, yo, this guy is unhinged. And this woman is like telling him, well, I'm sorry I said that. I hope you don't know I wasn't betraying you. And he's like, yes, that wasn't a betrayal. Like, it's, although any level of criticism or any discussion that puts Kody not in a positive light is bad. So Kody wants Robin to kiss his butt and gets mad at anyone that doesn't kiss Robin's butt and then screams at them if they have criticism of Robin and then does that in front of Robin to keep Robin away from everyone. That's kind of what I got from that. And he makes up this ridiculous story about, remember that woman he was courting before Christine married him? Now he makes up this lie that that woman still wanted to marry him after the fact, which they've never discussed, and I guarantee you never happened. And Christine's like, yeah, that didn't happen. So he's claiming, I was dating this woman for a long time and then split off. And then after Christine married us, she still wanted to join the family, the other woman, but Christine said no. And then Christine's like, yeah, that's a lie. Kody can't even keep track of his lies. When it comes down to the fight with Janelle, he really flips.
The fight with Janelle? I'm not watching that again. No, I'm not. Listen, I don't want to talk about my breakup with Janelle anymore, okay? All right? It's very painful. It's as bad as Christine's. But I didn't want to admit the same things that were going on with me and Janelle. I still struggle to admit those. That Janelle and I are not good together. She's not a loyal wife, and I'm probably a husband. I don't care. We're not working anymore, and I don't want to talk about it anymore.
I don't even know what to say, because this kind of proves to me this is why they have to have kid gloves with him when they do the tell-alls. If Kody is asked about a topic and he doesn't want to talk about it, he'll just shut down. And he will shut down conversations. He will have a temper tantrum. He'll throw an iPad and say, F it, I'm not going to talk about that. I don't want to talk about that. I've seen that. You're on reality television and you sign up for your life being filmed, and something happens that doesn't go in your favor, and it's a topic that is hard for you to discuss. Your job is to respond to what happened in that moment. Your job is to work with the production and the directors and do the job that they're asking you to do. If it's too hard for you to look back at your life and answer questions about your behavior and your relationships, you probably shouldn't be on reality television anymore, because this is them saying, okay, let's talk about this that happened this season. What is your understanding of this? Let's watch this. And he's like, no. This is why Suki can't ask him any questions. This is why no one can push Kody, because he will lose it. And again, this makes me wonder if he continues to act like this, and I don't know how long he's been acting like that with production, but if he continues to act like that, at what point does production get tired of dealing with him? You know what I mean? Like, do they say, you know what, we don't need you, fans don't even like you, and we're just going to move on with Janelle, and Christine, and Meri? Thoughts on that? Let me know. Next, Kody and the crew look at the breakup of Kody and Meri, and he claims to be a victim of DV of Meri and that she beat the love out of him. He is literally gone next level.
Okay, I was a little harsh. I said I wasn't in love with you because she beat the love out of me over our first year of marriage. In the beginning, Meri and I had a lot of problems. I couldn't fix them. I didn't know what to do. Divorce wasn't an option in my world. I'm like going, hey, I need another wife because I can't spend all my time with her.
So bizarre that this is what he says, because in their book, Becoming Sister Wives, he talks about how Meri and he were like so in love when they first got married. And even Janelle said that when she comes into this marriage, that Cody and Meri are so much a couple, so in love, so all over each other that it's uncomfortable for her. So he's claiming that things were so terrible with Meri, he had to bring in other wives so that he could handle being married to Meri. Which again, if you are so uncomfortable with someone and they're literally beating you, why would you bring other people into the family? It's a flat out lie. It does not match what anyone else says at all. He's always the victim. He's the prisoner. He can't leave. He can't tell a woman be leave. He can't ever leave because he's the prisoner. He has no options. He has no choices. It's funny because he always says in this family there are no victims, but there's no bigger victim than Cody in all of Cody's life. He is the biggest victim of his entire life. He is the victim. He wins the victim award. You know what I'm saying?
There are no victims in this family other than our victims of our own choices and our own mistakes. It's sad. Sadness makes me angry. It's all right. It's over, but we'll be okay.
So after playing the victim for the entire episode, then he says there are no victims in this family and that we're all victims of our own choices. The problem in this scenario is that Cody had all of the power as the patriarch, all of the control as the man in this culture. And there were victims. There 100% were victims in this family. The children were victims of growing up in a polygamous cult. The women were victims of being groomed to become plural wives as children. Other than Janelle, who didn't grow up in polygamy, although she was groomed by Cody and love bombed into this culture, you start to think he says these things so that he doesn't have to understand that he's hurt anyone. He says there are no victims because he doesn't want to actually have to break his reality that he is this amazing human being that is a good person and that he would never hurt someone. He'll never take responsibility for hurting anyone. He'll never take responsibility for causing someone pain. He'll say things like there are no victims and then play victim by crying about his breakup with Janelle and that Meri beat him. He said Meri beat him. And then he's like, there are no victims in this family. So Cody, you weren't a victim then, right, of domestic violence, because you just said that. In the same episode, Robin shows how she won't respond to things, and that's by storming off and crying. And then crying and saying she's going to have a panic attack. So Cody reacts with anger and yelling and screaming when he doesn't want to deal with something. And Robin's position when she doesn't want to deal with something is to tell directors that she's going to have a panic attack and she can't handle it. And she cries. It's like a lot of what her daughters were doing when they didn't want to deal with things, like they were crying and having panic attacks. It's just a way to avoid responsibility, not for the kids, but for her. You don't want to talk about it, so you're going to cry because you're like a 2-year-old and a toddler. Cody and Robin need to find a new job because they're getting really boring. Next video, we're going to talk about Jen and why I think Jen needs to become president, because she says what everyone's thinking about Cody and Robin. Tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below. Bye, guys.